meeting early. We have some schedule mix it up. Usually we meet every second Tuesday of the month, but this month only we are meeting on second Wednesday. So I apologize for that. We used to meet at Felix Picnic Community Center. So this is actually our second meeting here. We had our first meeting, which was a Christmas party, and this is the second. So from now forward, we're gonna meet every single Tuesday of every month here in this building at 6 o'clock, all right? So once again, welcome to the Tri-County Investment. This is something that we do out of our heart. Santa put this together, and me and David and Susan's over here to help him. We are not big, deep guys. We are just somebody that love to share our knowledge with everybody, and so we're over here to help you, and we'll be glad to help you in anything on real estate, as long as we know about it. If we don't know, we find out the answer and bring back to you, okay? So, and I would like you, if everybody that didn't sign the sign sheet to come and sign, so we kind of can have control. I see a lot of new faces, and we want to keep in touch with you. So, anybody else didn't sign, just please call Susan so she can help you out on that, okay? All right. My name is Will Silva. I am the Chief Executive of Island Group Realty. It's a company that I started about 12 years ago. And yeah, I am born and raised in Brazil. And I'm glad to have my father over here the first time after 20 years that I live in the U.S. He's over here today. So I'm really, really glad that he's here with us tonight. So, this is me and my wife and my kids, and we love to travel. We just came out of Puerto Rico. It was amazing vacation. Thank God we came out in time, because if not, we'll be over there on the island at this moment. So I love to travel. I don't spend the money, stuff that I don't need, but I do spend the money travel. I love to do that. So I'm a real estate investor again for 12 years. Some stuff that I do, it's a mobile home parks. I currently own 2 mobile home parks in Florida area. I do a lot of flipping. It's my passion, it's what I love to do. And the class today will be about flipping properties. I did multifamily properties. I used to own 162 units, sold everything on time. I bought in 2009, rehab and managed every single one until 2010. Somebody did copy pocket come out of New Jersey, and I bought all of the units, and I was glad of that. Hallelujah, Jesus. So something out of my heart that I do is assisted living facilities. I had 3 at this moment, and I'm looking to go more deep on the area. I love to work with people, and I love to work with elderly folks. So I have been, my whole life, I have been around seniors, and I love stay with them and help them. So I opened, a couple of years ago, I went to buy one out of Goose Creek. Didn't like the way the people was treating the seniors, didn't like the way they smelled, the place, how the place was look like. So I decided to open my own, start from scratch, which is something that I'll never do it again. It was hard way to learn, but hey, here we go. So, but I currently have 3, and I look to buy some more in 2020. So talking about 2020, how many of you already did your goals for 2020? How many did not? God have mercy, almost everybody. So you have to do your goals, right? I did mine, and my kids did theirs in August of 2019. So I highly encourage you to write your goals and put in a place that you're gonna see every single day. And to read that thing every day. And that will help you to keep on track, right? Some stuff that I'm looking to start investing in 2020, it's hotels. Love to get in hotels and storages. Love to get in storage. Unfortunately, probably in Charleston, it's kind of late to start in storages, but It's other places that we can do it. Hey, Corey, how you doing, bud? So it's other places that we can do it. So that's the current investment that I'm looking for: hotels and storages. So today we're going to concentrate on the flipping properties. I have been done for a while. I can sleep and breathe flipping properties. Currently I'm doing 6. And 2019 I did only 3, just because me and my family went through a hard time. Mother-in-law passed away. It was a very hardship for our family, and I kind of calmed down in 2019. But in 2018 I flipped 38 houses. So in 2019 I only did 3. It was hard, but hey, sometimes you have to choose a job or family. I choose my family always. So my goal is to not flip much in 2020, just because it's kind of harder to find now. But I'm doing a lot of new construction. Currently I'm doing 3 new houses, new construction, and just got a permit for 4 more. And I'm going to concentrate on new construction for 2020. And if I get some flippings, I will do it too. So those guys that are wholesalers that are looking to sell the house, please put my name on the list. I'm gladly take a look on your property. All right, flipping properties. For those that don't know, flipping properties mean that you find a property, fix it, rehab it. Rehab means fixing or repair. Some of y'all doesn't know the terminology. I understand it's the first time. Please don't get too sad or too mad if you don't understand the terminology. Just come and ask us. And am I forgetting something, David? I forgot to mention something before we start. Oh, we good. All right. So we talk about flipping properties. Flipping properties is when we find a distressed property or a ugly property, however you call. You fix it, repair, and please repair right. All right, repair right and nicely, and before you sell it. I have seen many flippers that have been done a crappy job and I pass it along and I sell to people that they was thinking that was getting a nice and beautiful home. Later on, they find out there was a worst nightmare. All right, I have been buying properties for people, flippers, that thought they knew what they was doing, and at the end of the day, they was not doing what is correctly, and I ended up running out of money, and I sell back to me, or to me. All right, so please do the job right. Do the job right. Okay. So the first thing that we do is find a property. How do we find a property? That's the common question that people ask me. How do you find a property, Will? Here. How many people already talk about spoken and mentioned properties that they have to sell? We can find properties here. You can have a realtor. How many realtors we have in here? Here we go. We can have a realtor. Please don't get scared to work with realtors. Everybody deserves the payment. I have a couple of realtors that work with me, and I don't mind to pay the 3 or 2.5%, whatever they charge me. So be respectful of them with them, because they need to do their work too, and they well deserve the payment. All right. Find a property with realtor. You can go on an auction, on the county courthouse auction. What is that? That is when people don't pay the mortgage company foreclose on them, and they have to sell that property. But one of the first steps is go and sell that property on the courthouse, on the county courthouse. So you can buy there. Today we had a meeting with Susan and David, and she said something that really was really weird. People was paying $110, $120 for a square feet on the properties on the auction. So that's crazy. So that's crazy. What that means? That means we have to go somewhere to Columbus, somewhere else to buy property. That's crazy. It's just crazy. So, but anyways, you can find properties with wholesalers. Anybody else? Anybody think what else they can find the properties? Anybody want to give an idea?
Probate.
Probate.
Family dollars?
Drive for dollars, I love that, guys. Ooh, I love drive for dollars. I don't mind to get scared, get shot sometimes. Steve almost get shot once. And did not get that property. Can you believe in that? God have mercy. Oh, Lord have mercy.
Get some mail people working for you.
Huh?
Get some mailmen working for you.
Get some mail people to work for you.
Yep.
Anybody else?
Referrals.
It's a lot of referrals.
Utility guys.
Utility guys.
Water guys, like things, because they're going around.
How about asset managers? I've got a lot of properties from asset managers. Before the properties come into the realtors, the asset manager want to liquidate that property. So they call the real people that real can close on properties. Usually they give it 2-3 days before they pass along. But if you can make that call in 2-3 days, you get a nice properties. Anybody else?
Are those asset managers with the banks or asset managers?
Yes, sir. Asset managers with the banks. Yes. Anybody else? How about sheriff's department? Can get properties there, right? How about just Google it? Sometimes, hey, how about websites like realtors.com, Zillow.com? People say, oh, Zillow is too outdated, but realtors.com it ain't. Sometimes I buy property on realtors.com, and I have access to MLS. I'm a realtor, but I just do my own properties. But sometimes I just have nothing to do in front of TV, and I get my computer, go to realtors.com, see what's up, and find out something. When I realize it's an old listing, call and buy. So it's too many ways for you to buy properties, guys. After you find the right property, before you make the offer, what do you have to do? Huh? I'm sorry? Work your numbers. Got to work your numbers. And that's very, very, very important for you to work the numbers right. When we make money, when we buy it, when we sell it? Buy. Hallelujah. Here we go. It's when we buy. So you make your money when you buy, not when you sell it. All right? So work your numbers, guys. Me personally, I'm going to talk about everything that I do, Will Silva do. Maybe that will not work for y'all. My numbers maybe don't work for you. I have been doing this for a while. You might be a newbie, a new guy doing this. You might have a little bit of experience, all right? So I'm going to talk about my numbers, all right? Me, Will Silva, I will never flip a property that I don't make $30,000 minimum. Never. It's just not a good way to do my time. It's $30,000 minimum. Yes, sir. Yes. Minimum. Maybe for you, a $15,000 would make a heck of a help. Hell yeah. Maybe $10,000 would make a difference here. When I started, I just made $5,000 a flipping. Why you did that, Will? Because I need to make a name. I knew people with money, but nobody would invest in me and give me 10 or 20 or 25% of the deal without knowing me. So guess what? You make sure that they give more money so they can trust you. And that's how relationship is started. I remember a time, my first property that I flipped, I didn't have no money, had experience because I had been in contract for a long time. Didn't have no money. Called somebody to come and invest with me and say, well, I don't know you, but it sounds like you're a good guy. And I say, how this can work for you? And say, listen, I'll go ahead and listen to me. He said, go ahead and find the property, fix the property, sell the property, I'll give you 20%. It was $10,000. I worked my butt off for 3 months to make the $10,000. But you know how much I pay them today? I pay them only 20% of the profit. I keep the 80. You know why? He get used to how the way that I work. You know, and now he dropped more money than he dropped the first time. I started with him with only $150,000. Today, He dropped $2 million anytime that I need to do anything. Right, so work from the bottom, you know. Build your name, and then you're gonna get the big numbers. Don't be greedy. This is not a get rich quick. If you try to get the rich quick in this, it ain't the right business for you. Little by little. Work your numbers. If you don't know how to work your numbers, come and talk to me and Susan or Santa. We can help you out. We don't gonna give you advice. We're not lawyers. All right. So come and talk to us. We'll kind of help you out and guide you. And if you're a member, we will guide you so you don't make a huge mistake. Will you make a mistake? Heck yeah. You will make mistake. You will lose money. We'll suck on something. That's for sure. But that's how you learn. That's how I learned. First time that I lost $30,000, I couldn't sleep for 3 nights. You know, but that's how I learned. All right. So make sure you know your numbers. Make the offer. Now, this is something that somebody might get scared. People get scared to make offers. No, people get scared that the offer get accepted. Yeah, because they have to find the money. Now they say, Jesus, what I have to do right now? Who's gonna help me to pay for this property? Especially when you have to come with some money for the earnest money. When you put over there $500 or $1,000 or $1,500, whatever, for 10 days, due diligence, and you come, you don't have the money, then you get scared, right? So that's why I encourage you to find the money, start to talk to people before you make the offers. If you're crazy enough, go ahead and make the offer and just see what happens. I've done that a couple of times. Hey, you gotta take chances. You know, I mean, $500 is a lot of money for some people. But if you're desperate to make something, I would encourage you to do at least once. I have been done, so make the offer. Know your numbers, make the offer right. All right? Make the offer right. When you make the number, yes, sir.
Go back a second. You say $30,000. Can you break it down percentage-wise, or how much you buy a house for, ARV, and repair?
For me, it's kind of harder for me to break down.
So we got 33.
I'll tell you why.
33?
It's kind of hard for me to break down. I'll tell you why. I say I make a $30,000 minimum. But now, it's kind of hard to break down because you might buy a property that the ARV might be 160 and you sell for 130. People say, we in Charleston, nobody would sell a property for $130,000. Hey, some areas in Ledson, you will. Some areas in North Charleston, you will. Or you might buy it, have the ARV for 180, but you have everything all in for 150. You're making $30,000 anyway. You know, so it's kind of harder for you. I never put a percentage. I mean, it's kind of harder for me to do it. I can walk around the property in 10 minutes. I know how much money I'm going to make on that property. Might not be your case yet, or will be in a little while. But this is me, guys. Please don't go through what I do. You know, $30,000, like I mentioned, $30,000 might be too much. Maybe you need a 10 grand or 5 grand or 15 grand. You know. Now, I never do a deal, a flipping deal of $1 million. So it'll be crazy to do a deal of $1 million and make only 30,000. But if you're desperate enough, hey, you know, if you don't have nothing in the deal, I mean, go ahead. But I don't sell anything over 250,000. That's my niche. That's my bread and butter. I will never sell anything over 250,000. I try, but the property just stay too long on the market. Because I use other people's money, I want to get their money quick. So I try to be 250 below. That's my niche. Any other questions? All right, let's keep going. Closing. After making the offer, you do all your due diligence. All right, on your due diligence, that's what messes some people sometimes. All right. Please find a reliable contractor. I know it's hard. I know it's hard. God have mercy, it's hard. But please find somebody that know what they're doing. And those guys usually are not cheap. They're not cheap. But I'll prefer to pay a little bit extra on the contract, on the contractor, than be a mess it up later on when I sell the property. And then come with the due diligence, the buyer's due diligence, and you found a lot of crappy on the cross space. They'll be costly. They'll be very hard, to find out. Believe me. So find a good and reliable contract. Don't call Uncle Joe, please. Don't do it. Don't call Cousin Brad or whatever. All right, don't do it. Go to the closing. You have to have an attorney. You have to have a realtor. You have to have a insurance guy, the girl. You have to have couple investors, private lenders on your team. So a lawyer will be one person on your team. Me personally, I use Mark Weeks. He's a local attorney. I usually use him. So he didn't pay for this advertisement, but here we go. Yeah, I usually use him. So use a good attorney to do your closing. Never do your closing by yourself. Can you do it? You can. You can. Actually, you can. But I would not do it by myself. Always have an attorney. Pay that $300. It's well worth it. Oh, Mark Weeks went up. That's $4. All right. Go to the closing repairs. Like I mentioned before, do the repairs right, guys. Do the repair right at the first time so you don't have a headache. All right. Don't cover something that you don't want to discover if you buy the house. I've seen people cover flooring that is completely rotten. Stupid guys. Sometimes my guys think that I'm not going to check, and they try to sneak something, and I ended up finding and get them back to fix it. Don't be afraid to tell your carpenter to come back on that cross space, wet cross space, and fix the wood that needs to be fixed. Because after the carpet gets paid, it's all on you. Guess who's going to be there later? You will. All right? So don't get scared. You are the one that makes the rules. You are the one that paid him. So makes him come back and do the job right at the first time. If you don't know that is wrong, call somebody that might know. But don't get scared to tell your contractor or your painter or your electrical guy to come and fix something that you don't look right. All right? So do the job right. Do the repair. So when you're supposed to be marketing the property, when you mark the property that you're about to flip, as soon as you buy, who's saying that? Who's agree with that? Well, usually I do after paint. Why I do that?
You don't want them to see what their house looks like.
Exactly. I don't want them to see how their house looked like before. Especially some realtors. Not everyone, but some realtors are hard to use their mind and imagine how it's gonna look like. One time I got a realtor that came on my property, was not listed. She was passed by and decided to come out of her car and check it out, the property. And I usually say, go ahead. She come on the property and she looked, stay over there about 10 minutes, come out. And I said, what do you think? It looks horrible. I said, yeah, I know that. Hey. So then I got her car, decided 30 days later to ask her to pass by. And she asked, is that the same house? I said, yes, ma'am. Oh, it looks nice. So I usually mark it after I paint, put the carpet on, or the flooring. Flooring sell houses. What sell houses? Kitchen, bathrooms, and closets. Kitchen, bathroom, and closets. That's where I spend my money. I don't spend my money on siding. Of course, you have to do a roof. But I don't spend my money on siding or cabinets or the best speaking nice granite. No, I spend the money on the kitchen, closets, and bathrooms. You know? I mean, I buy a nice granite. I don't pay $47 a square feet of granite. I just pay $28. Here we go. Do a nice repair. Start to market your house. You can also ask a realtor to do that. If you have a realtor on your team, use the realtor. You also can market yourself if you want to. So, that going through your experience, I am, like I mentioned to y'all, I am a realtor. I can market my own properties. So, and usually I have a realtor that brings a buyer to me, which I pay them the 3% that they deserve. So, market the property and sell the property, of course. Go to close again and sell the property and make the money. And then do it again and again and again. So the first couple of properties will be not nice, guys. I can tell you, I leave, I dig, and I keep doing. First couple of properties will not be, you're not gonna make a $50,000 each property, especially Charleston at this moment. You'll not do it. So it's easy to do, it sounds easy, and it ain't easy. It ain't easy. It's not easy to flip a property. A couple of days ago, somebody asked me to come and be partner with me on the property. I say, that's fine. Depending on how much you want to make it, how much you're going to put into, and he said, I just want to watch. So that's fine too. So we did start a property, we are about to finish it, and he came to me yesterday and said, dude, I never thought in my life they'll be so detailed. And it's just my property. I like to do right at the first time. Because my worst enemy is the buyer's inspector. Oh, Lord.
I was going to get you on that.
That's my worst enemy, on a good way. But if you know what they're looking for, you do what they're looking for, and you also leave some stuff that they want to find out. So I prefer for him to find a outlet that is not working, then they find out that a floor joist is blocked. Because that would cost me more. Now also, if they don't find anything, means that they're not doing their job. They will find something in the house. So I prefer to leave something for them to find. Right? So that's just the way that I do. I prefer to do it that. So and keep going. And maybe you guys you're not making the money that you desire in the first one, but maybe on the third you will. You know, it was easy for me because I was a contract. But please don't get discouraged, guys. Listen, real estate can make you a fortune. All right, don't get discouraged. If you don't make the money that you desire in the first one or the second one, just keep going. You get more experience. You find the good people to work with you. And you also find the bad ones, but you will find the good ones. All right? Any questions, guys? I want to be briefly on this. We started late. Dave still have to do his presentation. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
I have a quick question. I know you said it's a tri-county for Charleston and stuff. Will y'all ever branch out further in South Carolina, or y'all just stay in Charleston?
We don't, and I'll tell you why. We do this for free, actually. I don't want to spend more of my time that I have to. All right? So we do, me and Dave are saying,
We do deals outside.
yeah, we do deals while outside, but we don't,
Gotcha.
you know, I flip out of Columbia or Myrtle Beach if I find a good one, a good deal. You know, I'm not there all the time, but if I find a good deal, I will. But I'm sorry, I misunderstood your question. Any questions, guys? Oh, yes, ma'am.
Your assisted living facilities, do you do any small
your homes that have 4 or 5 bedrooms?
That's what I do, ma'am. I don't like to go big. This is my heart, okay? Can I do a big facility? Yes, I can. But I don't want my dad or my mom to live on a big commercial building. I want them to live on a home, a house that they can call home, and the address and mailboxes outside that they can call their family and say, yes, I live at 1131 Baxter Street. That's my house. So that's why my facility is 5 beds or less. I don't want to go, that's my vision, you know? So I would not like to go big on that. I might want to go big in many houses, but I don't want to go in a big facility.
You can talk to me, that's fine.
Oh. Any other questions? All right, Dave, you on, buddy?
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Check. See which microphone I like better.
Probably.
Test. I don't know. What do you think? What sounds better? 1,
I like to move
2,
around.
1, 2, 1, 2. We'll do both. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you everybody for coming out. Thank you everybody for coming out. Thank you, Mr. Will. And we're going to talk about wholesaling now because it's the first of the year and everybody loves to talk about that because nobody really talked about their goals earlier, but I bet almost a lot of people really want to do wholesaling. It's a popular topic. So we're going to, let me open that up on my computer and we'll talk about wholesaling. All right. Let's see. Oh, that wasn't it. Okay. All right, and I click something, right?
I think you got it.
I'm a real estate investor, not a tech guru. Okay, so I'm gonna keep the technology basic here. So what do I do here, Chelsea? Hit the arrow. Oh, it's going. Okay, it looks different here than it does there. All right, enough technology. All right. Okay, so I'm David Hodges. We've had this organization for about 1.5 years now. I've been a full-time real estate investor for about 6.5 years, and I've done several hundred deals. I've been doing this full-time for that long, and I've started off with a couple $1,000 in my pocket and quit my job, or I got fired. It's either I quit or I got fired. Not sure which one, but it was kind of a little bit of both. But so anyway, I was cast into this world, and it was like, uh-oh, I got to sink or swim. I got to figure this out. So on Halloween 2013, my brother and I sent out 5,000 yellow letters, and we swiped the credit card. And then within a couple weeks, we had some deals, and we didn't even know how we had deals or why we had deals. We just got lucky, honestly. And we bought our first deal. In fact, it wasn't a true wholesale because it was such a cheap house. We were like, well, let's just go ahead and use our own money and buy it. It was a $1,000 house, and it was in Wayland neighborhood. That was my first deal. 4001 Niagara Street. It's on the corner of Niagara and something. I might have the house number wrong. Anyway, bought that for $1,000, and the lady who sold it to us said that she wanted to get rid of it because the grass was too high, and the code enforcement was going to take her to jail. And we were like, okay, well, let's keep you out of jail. I guess I'll buy your house and I'll make sure we cut your grass at the same time, you know? And she did make a point that when they put you in jail, they have to feed you. So she said it's not as bad as everybody thinks. They gotta feed you and they gotta give you health care. Those were her two things. So anyway, you'll meet odd individuals along the way sometimes. And so that story demonstrates what's called a motivated seller. Now, exactly why she was motivated to sell me her house for $1,000, It was mostly she just didn't need it anymore. She had another house. She didn't want to deal with the problem. Her husband had recently passed away, and money wasn't her primary objective at that point. And she just said, here you go. So she had responded off a yellow letter that we sent to her. Took the $1,000 house. A week later, we were like, man, we got to get rid of this thing because we don't know what we're doing. So we sold this thing on I didn't have a contract. We didn't really know what we were doing. We were going to a couple of meetings, and I met Santa at the breakfast meeting at that time, and so I grabbed a rental agreement. And then I met a guy at McDonald's and got a $1,000 down payment, and I didn't know what to write on the rental agreement, so I just started scratching things out and just writing in things that sounded good, you know? And he signed his part, and I signed my part, and he gave me $1,000. And then like 2 weeks later, he brought me another like $15,000, and we, you know, I think he had an attorney, I don't know. He gave me the money, and that's all I needed to worry about. We didn't, you know, so we didn't know what we were doing. So, point of that story, you don't have to know how to do everything. And I would highly encourage you to not try to go out there and learn everything, because if you're going to play with technology, be a technology guru. If you're going to play on your computer and learn everything, go be that person. But real estate's done out here in the real world. And so, anyway, just get out there and start doing stuff. You're going to stumble your way into money. You're going to stumble your way into a little failure, but you're going to learn from all that. So, okay. So, and then Vincent came along here in about a year and a half or so ago?
Yeah, so it was
from California.
Well, originally from California, and I moved all over the place. But yes, I've been here for 3 years. I came to this group. I had just heard about wholesaling a year and a half ago, and I said, okay, go to RIA meetings. All right, so I'm at a RIA meeting. Let's talk to some cash buyers. Let's, you know, talk to people who are in our community doing the things that I want to do. So found this group. And then, like I said at the beginning, I didn't know what I was doing, right? And you don't necessarily have to know everything. You just have to take action and talk to the folks that, you know, you're going to be wholesaling these contracts to, or getting, you know, repair estimates from. I mean, I don't know how many times I've talked to David, Santa, Will, Susan, and just said, hey, I've got this thing I'm working on. Can you point me in the right direction? Say, hey, well, no, don't do it that way. Do it this way. And I don't know, it's come along pretty good. So we've got 3 deals closing this month. So we've come along, you know, pretty far this year, and it's been good. It's been good.
Okay, cool. All right, yeah, and I do a handful of wholesales a year, but mostly I try to buy and keep everything I buy now. So, but in the beginning, I was doing a lot of wholesaling. But that's, I would encourage in the beginning, if you're trying to build cash, do more wholesaling and get people with more experience on board to buy those deals from you and things like that. Anyway, all right, so we'll start with the slide here. We'll be a little loose in our framework here. It might be some general topics. We can break into kind of whatever topic somebody wants to bring up, as long as it's not too far into the weeds of like technicality. We're going to lose everybody here.
And I want to say, if you have a question, you know, we're going to leave some time at the end. Please ask your questions. I mean, that's the whole point of all of this, right? If you're just starting, like I was this time last year, ask your questions. So yeah, and don't be afraid.
And we've got to be out of here. We got to start shutting the room down at 8:30.
Okay, so
anyway, just keep that time in mind, because we got to be out of here by 9. All right. All right. So what is wholesaling? Why does my screen show a different slide? Let's see here. What do I do? Do I have to hit that button?
Hold on. Let's see if I can do this too.
Okay. Vincent and Chelsea run our videos. Okay, so if you're a member, this is really cool. If you're a member, a paid member, which is $300 a year, $350 for a couple or I guess a business partnership, you will get all of the videos we have in a private YouTube file, or private access to a YouTube. And so it's all the speakers we had. We had like Mark Weeks last year. We had Fidelity Trust or Equity Trust come. We had Mr. Tracy Mills. Yes, we did. And fantastic. One of my favorite, Mr. Tracy Mills on trust. That was excellent. And we have CPAs, insurance people. We got every tradespeople we can get. So we're constantly trying to get new ones, but we're going to video them as part of your membership along with some other things. All right. Are we not moving on
No,
this?
it's not moving, I don't know.
Okay.
Did you change so it's on the screen, like F10 and something?
Can you come up, yeah, I think you might be more qualified for this.
You can break it.
Can I break it?
I'm gonna buy.
Yes.
I'm gonna buy a new computer. I had a good December. I wholesaled a deal and made $15,000 in December. So I'm gonna get a new computer. That was my Christmas gift. Break it.
That'll be good.
Oh, wait, no, wait. Then.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay. So I think Mr. Brandt was asking about some numbers. Now, these are just generic like numbers that and $100,000 ARV after repair value. That's what we investors call the value. I call that a retail price. Like sometimes realtors don't always speak the same language as us. I just say ARV is a retail price. All right. Anyway, this is just a generic breakdown. $100,000 easy to work with. So ARV is 100,000. That's what you want to sell it because we're going to backwards engineer the deal. Work the numbers backwards. So $35,000 profit is what you want. If the repairs are $20,000, and if you want to wholesale it, you need to work in your wholesale fee into all this stuff. And I've definitely made the mistake of like negotiating a deal and then like kind of forgetting I needed a wholesale fee built into it. And it's like, oh dang, well okay, enjoy that deal. Try, send me something. Come on, send me some love. I've done that a time or two, but it happens. Whatever, it happens. Okay, so those are some examples of the numbers. Hopefully that's pretty straightforward. The 35 at the second to the top should be the profit there. But so your offer would be $35,000. That sounds like probably to some people who aren't used to like making offers. It probably sounds like, what? My house is worth $100,000 and you're gonna offer me $35,000? And if you did that to me before I was an investor, I would have a few choice words for you. But that kind of thing will happen. You'll piss some people off. Let's just put it frankly. But you're not doing it for the sake of pissing off. That's just kind of some of the results that'll be part of it. But you'll make mostly everybody happy that is accepting of your offer. And why? Because you're giving them a realistic offer based upon the market that you're working within. Because our time is not free, our investment money is not free to work with, and it is our job as wholesalers to educate our sellers of homes on why it is that our offer is so low, if they even ask. Sometimes they don't even ask. You just sometimes in the best case scenario, they just tell you what they want to sell it for. $1,000 house in Wayland. I didn't even negotiate that. She named a price on that. So anyway, so that's a good overall example there. Let's see. Okay, so one thing I like to focus on that I think a lot of wholesalers miss is like, what exactly is your service? So it's easy for someone who's a house flipper to like understand their service. It's like, okay, the service is I'm going to make this house nice again. Pretty straightforward. It's tangible. You can see the results, and it's like, boom, you're selling a house. It's pretty easy. But what is a wholesaler selling? What is the service? So a lot of they tend to get a little self-centered on like what is in this for me, and that can kind of convey over to the way you're doing business with your motivated sellers, and they can kind of sense that, like what's in it for me. So more important than anything, maybe some people can give me some suggestions on what is a wholesaler providing as a service. Speed, okay. Yeah.
Convenience.
Yeah.
Marketing.
Okay, marketing, all right.
Time for negotiations.
Time for negotiations or expertise on the negotiations.
Inventory for the flippers.
Inventory for the flippers, right? Because wholesalers have two sides of a service. Servicing what the seller needs and servicing what the buyer needs, because we're just getting in between the deals. You know, that's what you want to do to make money. Just go get yourself in between these deals. Put yourself in between a deal, you'll make some money. All right, so here's the point I like to drive home to wholesalers. It's a minor point, but it makes sense, and I might give you the right frame. Your service as a wholesaler is that you're offering cash to the seller. You're offering some kind of money to the seller, and I know that seems simple, but you don't have cash yourself, but you have business partners that have that cash. So it's just important to convey that and to understand that that's what you're doing. But you're also solving other problems that they have other than cash, and you can work around things that maybe they are trying to get around as far as time constraints of moving and probate issues and title issues, and they got 8 family members that are trying to agree on how to sell it, and it's your job to be the expertise to work them around all those problems. So you really are, in a big sense, being a consultant to the deal as an expert, and you're offering them cash. That is actually your service.
And I just want to say, we've got a lot of like big time wholesalers in this room. There's a lot of folks in here that do a lot of deals. If you don't mind saying, like, what do you feel that like your value proposition is to the homeowner? I mean, what do you think you're bringing to them? You know, like I know you guys do a lot.
Basically, man, I provide a solution to whatever the pain point is. And during negotiation, I'm jabbing at that pain point the whole time. I'm reminding them why you're talking to me, why you should sell the house to me or my partners.
Right.
And I think that, sorry, because we work together, I think we usually start asking people why they want to sell, paint that goal picture in their head before talking money. Because then you say, okay, then you wanted to sell because you want to move closer to your parents, or you want something smaller, or you know, less maintenance. And then reminding them of that. I painted the picture starting there. I think that's very powerful.
Yeah. Just acknowledging, part of it is this, acknowledging what they're telling you. And people want witness and approval. That's really what they want. If you want a big interpersonal tip of the day, when you're speaking to people, if you can just give them witness and approval for what it is they're experiencing, then you will appear to be their best and most important person at that point in time. And that's a big negotiating tip, and friendship tip, and partner tip, and marriage tip, and everything tip.
You know, because sometimes you'll get someone who has 15 postcards that they've gotten in the mail, and they've not paid attention to any of them, and it's you that they want, and it's just because of the personal relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. And those 15 postcards, I get those postcards because I've started to accumulate properties, and I try to remain anonymous as possible. Thank you, Tracy Mills, for helping me. Not because I'm doing anything wrong, just because I get so many damn postcards, so I don't need any more. But I'll call a lot of those postcards back, and the amount of people who do not return my phone call is unbelievable. And I'll even leave the whole desperate, motivated seller pitch on their voicemail. Maybe they can tell I'm just joking, or I don't know. I must be I'm not sincere when I leave the message or something, but I'll say something like, "Please call me back. Please, thank you, Lord, for sending me this postcard." And they don't call me back. I'm like, really? The people do not call me back. They're spending money on marketing, and that's expensive money. You know why? Because I spend it myself. So we'll get to this in a second, but if someone calls you to sell their house to you, drop everything you're doing and talk to them. Like, I don't know why that's so difficult to explain. Like, pull your car over, you know, get your yellow pad out and just take care of business. But I don't know what it is. People like to do everything up to the point where they gotta like talk to somebody. So, okay, anyway.
Yeah, we got it. It's 8:05. I don't want to.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Are there houses that are not ending up not sold?
Houses not ending up not
Right,
sold.
like when
I'm sorry.
like
Okay.
say the wholesaler got this house, but it ended up not getting sold at all.
So the question was, are there houses that wholesalers are getting on their contract that aren't selling? That's her question.
Yeah. Oh, well, I lose. Deals fall through. Deals fall through. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would say with experience, I've gotten good at sifting through trash a lot faster. And like, I mean trash like a deal. It's something that's not a deal, not like a person or something, but like I've just gotten a lot better and more efficient. That's one of the things with experience that you get. But like in the beginning, you're gonna do a lot of deals. Just like, in fact, I would just embrace that. I would say just go put a bunch of stuff under contract and let the chips fall where they may. Come in here with like 10 contracts and make yourself look good, and then we can tear it all apart, you know? So, like, we're not gonna, that's the beauty of this group, it's a mastermind. We can gently and encouragingly tell you why that is a deal or not. And then out of that 1 out of 10 that you put under contract last week, if one's a deal, that's where the money is. It'll be real apparent real quick. So you'll have 10 people raise their hands that they want that deal. I mean, that's when you know a deal's a deal right there. So anyway, but things definitely fall through.
And I would just note on, you can go ahead.
The only way that the wholesaler would not maybe sell the deal is maybe they didn't do it, the numbers well, or they want to make too much money. So for an investor that does that every day, if the person comes in and tell me what is the property, how much they want, and if in the ARV, I already right there tell it if it is a deal or not. So, and unfortunately in Charleston, it's many wholesalers that want to make too much money. I receive probably 5 emails every day of properties from wholesalers. And I'm buying these people. I don't even know how they get my email. Because, seriously, because their numbers is outrageous.
Yeah.
Probably Steve driving too much.
You sent her to the wrong place, and if it is, wasted his time.
I mean, yeah, I mean, think about it. I mean, if you take your time, if you're a wholesaler, if you get a serious investor that can close, I'm talking about serious investor, the ones that can close and they do it for real. All right? It's not many of those around in Charleston. You know, guys that really can close in 10, 15 days, it's not many of them, unfortunately. Fortunately. Fortunately. So, if you got a guy that comes to your property, your numbers are not right, guess what? He'll never come to your property anymore because you're wasting his time, right? So make sure that the numbers are right. I mean, I used to go, wholesaler thing started probably about 5 years ago. You know, before, long time ago, we didn't have many wholesalers, so we didn't waste time. So when wholesalers started to be the tank of heat in Charleston, I started to go a bunch of houses. Then I find out, me, wasting half of my day going to see properties that aren't even worth it. So if those guys call me again, I'll even open the email. That don't mean that I don't want to buy the property, just that I don't want to waste my time. You know?
Yeah, and a lot of times when there's wholesale, eventually you'll meet enough people and they'll say, give me your email and I'll put you on my wholesale list, and they'll just send you properties every single day. Well, if you're getting that many properties and you're seeing that like maybe a couple hundred other people are getting those same emails, like you're getting a B list. That's not the premium list. You're getting the ones that, the scrap food, that like, oh, let's throw this out there and see what sticks. And so it's interesting to look at those and kind of like start training yourself on like how to read those. But I'm in agreement. I don't even look at those emails other just out of curiosity if I'm bored that day or something. But I don't recall buying anything off of those. But then again, maybe I'm missing things. I personally just enjoy finding my own deals, and every once in a while I'll buy one from a wholesaler. But anyway, okay, so we'll move on. Okay, offering a profitable deal to the buyer, meat on the bone. Mr. Santa came up with that phrase. You gotta have meat on the bone to sell it. And if you're gonna price your things to the point where there's no meat on the bone, then you're just not, you're not providing the service. You're not providing the service. So don't, okay, we could go into all sorts of topics. Okay, the mindset for wholesaling. Okay, I say go big or go home. Because like most people, when they start off in wholesaling, it's like you can be small and like have some success along the way, but like you have to get your head in the game and really engage into like this craft here, and you really have to get into it and make it a thing, and that just infiltrates your mind so that you're doing it. And if you think that doing 10 mailings next week is the answer, you're way too low. I mean, 5,000 would be really high probably for most people, and for me currently. But you know, to me, less than 1,000, mailers a month is like I'm not sure you're in the game.
And to David's point, things started changing for us when we started treating it like a business, like truly understanding how many leads do we have coming in, how many leads are we contacting today, like looking at our numbers and understanding how many people did I even get a hold of that it was the right person, and if what we're starting to realize now, like the goal for this year is to make 100 offers. It's not so much, we need to close 25 deals as much as we need to be making offers to people that we think, that we know are motivated to sell. And part of that mindset shift for me is how we're, moving forward. I mean, that's what's changed for us from last year to this year, is treating it like a business and genuinely understanding that we're here to help these people. Here's the service we provide, we're convenience, we're cash, we pay all the closing costs so they can walk away with what we tell them they're going to walk away with. And then, we bring enough meat on the bone for everybody else. So
I just encourage us to go big, because most people, even if you say you're going big, you usually end up going a little smaller than you thought you were going to go. It's just human nature. Most people don't have the problem of going too big, so you might as well be told, go big, because we all tend to fall short of what it is we think we set out to do. So, okay, embrace the grind. This is a small business. This is a grind. I mean, just if you treat it that way, you won't have expectations that like, okay, I saw an infomercial and someone said they made $13,847.63 on one deal. And yes, those things definitely happen, but it's not, 5 minutes after you started, but it can be, but probably not. Okay, constantly testing. Some things work for some people. The beauty of this business is that everybody has a place in it. Everybody has a place in it. Everybody has a different personality, different skill sets, different background, different job experiences. The list of qualities goes on and on and on and on, and you can build a team and work with people. I have no shame in being a bird dog. Does everybody know what a bird dog is? Okay, a bird dog is somebody who sources deals but doesn't engage in a contract. And it's a great beginner approach, but it's actually really fine to use for advanced people as well, because a lot of times I don't have time to just work a lead. Like I said earlier, when I announced my deal, I said, that's a bird dog. I'm busy renovating something right now, and I would just assume bird dog that deal out, and I can eliminate the headache, and if I send it to the right person that I trust, obviously, boom, maybe they'll send me 500,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000. I don't know. I mean, whatever is right for that deal, they'll send me that amount of money, whatever we agree upon. So that's what a bird dog fee can be. And if you're trying to learn at the beginning, you can bring a deal without having to worry about the contracts and all of that. And you can just say, I just have a deal, or what I think is a deal, work this for me, we'll work it together. All right, great. You just got a bird dog fee and you're learning how to do it. That's win-win, So, okay. So constantly test things. Okay.
David, you like mail, your brother likes mail, I like cold calling, knocking on doors, so it depends on what you're comfortable with too, and how you can scale that. Yeah. You get to scale it later, you just got to get it going first.
So we'll get into a little bit of marketing now. Finding deals starts with some type of marketing. More marketing, the better. However, focus on 2 or 3 types of marketing rather than 10 types of marketing. So just pick something you think would be good, it suits your personality, this and that. Some people are better off being behind a desk and operating things from afar, like on the internet. I don't do that. I'm not a tech guy. I'm old school. I'm not afraid to knock on someone's door. I'm not afraid to say hello. I find a lot of success in that, mostly because no one else does it. So that's what I do. Some of what I do, okay? All right, get good at one or two things and then add others first. Don't outsource what you're doing until you're already making a ton of money doing it. I mean a ton of money. Like really, to where you can just not worry about money anymore. Like I've made this mistake so many times where I just said, I'm gonna find an assistant to work my leads for me. I just don't find it works, like because they don't have the same passion, the same mindset. It's just not an hourly type of job. If you're coming into this as an hourly type of personality, good news is you don't have to be that personality anymore. You get to be you for once. You don't have to be what a boss tells you. You get to be you. And so hiring someone else to be an hourly person just means that like they're just counting the watch. I mean, they're not too concerned about results. Okay. Any comments on that?
So driving for dollars, that's something we do a lot. Cold calling, something we do a lot. We were texting for a little bit, but this didn't make sense. Like it's just much easier for me to call them. I really like door knocking because you get an answer right then and there. So if the house is distressed and the mailing address is somewhere here in Charleston, somewhere within a 45-minute drive, if we're up that way, I'm going to go knock on the door and see, hey, I saw this property. Are you interested in selling it? So that's what works for me personally. And we're, Chelsea and I, we're a two-person team, and that's what works for us.
You're referring to just driving along and seeing a distressed home and be like, that's it, that's the one.
Yeah.
The car.
Yeah, so
So not lead generated, just cold.
Yeah, okay. Correct. So that's how we generate our leads, is driving around in up and coming neighborhoods and finding a distressed property and looking. We use Deal Machine. It's real easy. You just click on it's an app you download. You click on the thing, it pulls up all the information, and then mailing address if they're local. We'll call them first, but if they're local and we can't get a hold of them, I'll come to door.
And I'll tell you the challenge of driving for dollars right now, because I've done a lot of it. You go around with a yellow pad, all right? So I use a yellow pad a lot. Don't rely on, you rely on some computer stuff. But anyway, I use a yellow pad because it's so much more efficient. And it's all right here in front of me. And then I can use the yellow sheets to like leave a note on their door too. So it's dual purpose. Now, low tech, inexpensive, all that good stuff. And it's really effective. All right. But the challenge is you go out and you get a list of like 80 properties because you just drove around all Sunday afternoon. And then you get back to the house and you're like, yeah, I got my 80 properties. And you set them down on the desk and then they just sit there.
And that was our problem starting off, was we did yellow pad,
yeah.
And then Deal Machine, it pulls it all up in an Excel spreadsheet. You export it out, upload it to be skip traced, and it saved us. I mean, we were spending 3-4 hours doing that,
okay.
But it's worth, well, we do it. We do the 14-day free trial, then we cancel it, then we do the 14 days free trial. Well, it's $50 a month. We're trying, it's the truth. We're trying to run really lean. So I just canceled it today. And that's how we do it, because it saves that. I like the yellow pads because you can leave them on the door, and we do that too. But it saves us those 3 hours of time. Saves Chelsea that 3 hours of time. So we don't have to do that anymore. So.
Yeah, so obviously those things work. I just don't use them because I know that that's one more thing for me to do, and it's another $50 a month, and I've already got so many subscriptions and emails and all that crap. I don't want my phone going ding, 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 ding. It does that all day anyway, so I don't need any more of that.
Yeah, so and it all depends on how you want to do it.
It's your personality.
Exactly. There's no one right way to do this, as long as you
do it. That's my point. Don't let that pad of 80 properties sit on your desk and not send a letter out or do whatever you were going to do with it. Okay, because I've made that mistake plenty of times. Okay, all right, so pros and cons for each type of marketing. It's not like this is good, better, and best. You really got to identify a lot of things, your personality, what you want to do, what you're good at, what you can learn quickly or whatever. Each will kind of cost you time, or it'll cost you money, or some combination of both. Think about it like, driving for dollars is your time, and it's your gas money. If you want to not spend a lot of time, you can come over to where it's going to cost you money, like direct mail. It's going to be $1 or $1.50 a pop. You go out the door, and you get a list, and you send 5,000 yellow letters out like we did. hit the button on the computer or whatever, boom, done. Wait 3 or 4 days and a bunch of phone calls come in. Now the phone calls are your time, but that's the end.
Yeah.
That's one of the steps to the end result is get the phone calls coming in, get the results coming in. So just think you can go spend your time. If you don't have a lot of money right now, you can go spend your time and do things to generate leads. Or you can go, if you got some money, go spend some money to generate leads. But it's kind of, that's one way of thinking about it.
And to David's point, we had more time than we had money, so that's why we chose to do it those ways. That's where if you have more money than you do time, then you choose those ways. It just depends on what you got going on.
And I wouldn't say put one of these ways over the other. It's all just what works. Once again.
But
got to answer that phone call.
but it's a time that will come in, and you don't need to do nothing anymore. The leads will come in. If you spend probably 4 hours with him, your mind gonna blow because he receives the leads every single freaking minute of the hour. Unbelievable.
Santa's, yes.
Yes.
His phone goes.
The most I've ever got
Yeah.
was 114 in one day,
Hun-
phone calls and texts.
Phone calls and
Did
texts.
not count the emails.
He doesn't do emails. If you send him an email, you gotta call him.
Normal thing, 50 to 75 phone.
You gotta send him a letter to tell him he got an email, okay? Send him a yellow letter. Santa, you got an email. Okay.
So I highly encourage you to tell everybody what you're doing. So when people come with a property on the mind, they will call you immediately. Then come a time that you don't need to spend money on leads or looking for anything. You know, people just gonna call you automatically.
Okay, so direct mail, I've talked quite a little bit about that, but there's different lists. Unfortunately in South Carolina, or fortunately, it depends on how you think of this, and there's no list for, not an easy way to get lists anymore. It used to be you go to these outsourcing companies that would send you a list, but I think like starting last year, they stopped, you can't buy those lists anymore. Now I happen to have a bunch of those old lists and I keep them updated. So if anybody wants to collaborate on some things, come talk to me. But the lists now have to be gotta just figure out how to get a list. And there's ways to do that, but we don't have time to talk about that right now. But the types of lists are absentees, probates, foreclosures, courthouse,
Driving for dollars.
driving for dollars, and then you can segment things down to like ARV, price range, and all sorts of
And
things.
the thing about lists is you're looking for possible signs of motivation, right? So probate, they just inherited this house. Maybe they're interested in selling it. Foreclosure, well, they're going to lose it, so we got to talk to them at least. You know, driving for dollars, obviously that house is distressed. There's some form of distress or some sort of a pain point, and that's what you're isolating, and then you just reach out and see if they have any interest.
All right. Bandit signs. That is a bit more of a time thing than a money thing. But you know, if you're thinking one bandit sign, you're thinking way too low. If you're thinking 10 bandit signs, you're thinking way too low. If you're thinking 100 bandit signs, you might be in the right ballpark. If you're thinking 500 bandit signs, I'm slightly impressed. If you're thinking 1,000 bandit signs, I'm impressed.
So bandit signs, we're this year we're doing 20. We're going to be doing 25 a week, so it's 100 a month. Now we got to be careful because code enforcement in the city, and they don't really like that. So you got to be careful.
And if this is being recorded, we're just
no, I'm gonna edit that part out.
Don't do bandit signs on the summer.
Yeah.
Don't do bandit signs on the summer. Because the grass will be cut and you waste your money. Now in the winter, just go and do it.
All right, now, and I'm going to make another point.
Depends on the intersection.
I'm going to suggest don't outsource your bandit signs. I know that sounds like you should do that, but you're going to have someone take a big old truckload of bandit signs and go just dump them out in the river, all right? And you're going to pay them to do it. Or they're going to put them out, but they're going to be upside down, in the wrong corner, not visible, behind a tree. I can't tell you how, thinking you're going to outsource certain things is, yes ma'am.
I'm not, this is a silly question, but a bandit sign is a yard sign,
Bandit signs.
I have so many questions.
Yeah, bandit signs.
okay.
I didn't coin the term. I don't know who did, but anyway, it's just something. Anyway, you're not supposed to
It's
put
the
them
We
out.
Buy Houses sign.
Let's just put it that way.
Oh, I see those signs.
Yeah, you see those signs, but like you need to check your jurisdiction because a lot of places don't allow them, and just make sure you're doing it legally or whatever. Okay.
Not put your cell phone on the sign.
Oh, you asking for it.
Don't put your cell phone on one of those signs.
Find a Google number, get a second line,
Yeah, get a second line.
and I should not say that, but don't answer that phone if it rings, okay? It might be a beautiful feature.
Okay. Another thing about bandit signs is about 75% of the people will call and they'll say, I know it says you buy houses, but do you also sell houses? And so that's going to be about 75% of your calls, all right? Now, you can decide to keep a list of people who are looking to buy a house from you. That might be worthwhile, but a lot of those are going to be time wasters, I'm telling you. They want to buy the house at the same price as you're paying for it as a wholesaler. So just, I don't worry about all that for the most part. If you see bandit signs out, you can call those people, and guess what? Just like direct mail, when I call those phone numbers, and I'm with Santa driving down the road, how many times we call bandit signs and they don't call us back? And I do the whole desperate, I got a house, oh my gosh, and they don't call back. So anyway, whatever. You can get about 10 bandit signs out per hour if you're gonna do it right, because you need to, anyway, place them in a certain way. That's a good gauge of what your time is gonna be. All right, should we move on?
Yeah. And then I still want to get some questions in, so.
Oh yeah, we got about 5 minutes. Let's see, we'll go on to the next one.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's see. Oh, lead generation. Dang. Okay. Well, let's just go to questions.
well, I just about to leave. So following up has been the biggest thing that's changed our business. So I just want to say that. So you get in contact with them, they're not ready to sell yet, call them in 3 weeks. They're not ready to sell then, call them in another 3 weeks. Or whatever they told you to call them back at. That's the thing that has changed.
Fortune is in the follow-up.
Always keep organized. And if you do a contract, and you gotta do a contract, at the end of the day, the person don't want to sell it, don't throw that contract away. Put it on file, because one day you might need that contract. Now, I had many contracts that people change their mind, put them on file, and then 3-4 months later, they want to sell it, they call me, thinking that I don't know how much I would offer. But guess what, I have that on my file, and I always go below the first offer.
And when someone says we're looking to sell, we're actually looking to move in August, I get on my calendar, I do use Google Calendar, all right, that's fantastic. Okay, that's one of the few texts I use, but and email and stuff, whatever. But if they say I'm not selling now, but I'm selling my house in August, guess what? They're gonna get a phone call on August 4th. When I told them on January 8th, hey, I'll call you on August 4th at 2 o'clock. Do it, and you'll get the deal. I get over half my deals just from like simple things like that.
Let's try to get the questions in. I know you had your hand raised, so.
Oh, yeah, I was wondering approximately for 5,000 of these yellow mailers, what do you think?
Well, I don't do yellow mailers anymore. I do postcards.
Yeah, the 5,000 postcards.
Shoot, I think it's like 55 to 65 cents a pop.
Okay.
Yeah, because like they price them weird because it depends on what kind of address input you put in, whether it's first class or it's bulk. They kind of separate them out, and I actually don't even really look at it anymore. I just kind of hit the green button, and then they're gone. So, all right. And then they send me the bill. I don't know.
Gentleman right here, you got a question? Yeah, raise your hand.
I think you.
Okay, cool. Everybody else have questions?
I had a comment. So I went with I do buy and hold and stuff, and I went with a wholesaler to this property, and it wasn't a deal for me. So I went ahead and went over his numbers and everything, and there wasn't enough meat on the bone. He had the house was overpriced, and he wanted to make $10,000 on the deal because whatever guru had told him that you have to make $10,000 on the deal, don't do it unless you're making that. And so this guy was gonna walk away from that deal if he couldn't make $10,000. He had never done a deal before in his life, and he was gonna continue to have never done a deal before because he wasn't gonna make $10,000. And to me, that's absurd. Like, you would, like, he did a flip for, well, you said like $10,000. That's a lot of work. That's a lot more work than a wholesale. Like, get the deal.
If you make it, listen, some money of something is better than no one of money. So if you make it $2,000 by wholesaling, who cares?
No, $200.
You're $2,000 less. Come on.
My minimum is
$2,000. At least he's a mortgage payment for that month. It's, you know.
Yeah. My minimum is $100 wholesale fee, because that's $100 in gas money. I mean, like, look, just you got to think, you got to go big or go home. If you're caught up on one deal, that's not how it's all played. I mean, it's you know, we get frustrated because we lose deals. It's going to happen, but you know, I guess it's like dating a little bit. You don't want to just go like, you know, you want to keep your options open. You want to have, you know, like, okay, well, I like this one. Let's let those other ones go, or whatever. I don't know. But
And if
anyway.
you found somebody a deal, they'll take your calls forever now.
Yep.
If you take,
If you find me a deal, I'll take your
Well, the
calls
other thing too is I have a very short buyer list. Like, I mean, the people who say get a big buyer's list, like 1,000 emails, is like, no. When I find a deal and I know it's a deal, I call Santa for this one, I call Will for that one, you know, whatever. Just, I already know where the deal's going. That's just my thing, but not to say I wouldn't sell it elsewhere, but anyway. Okay, we're probably close out of time. Do you have any closing remarks?
Well, just, you know, if you're just getting started, I mean, this is where we were this time last year, right? Chelsea and I, and we stuck with it, even though it was really friggin' hard. And I got like all this anxiety cold calling, and like it was just like all this crap that everyone deals with, everybody deals with, right? But you just have to keep going. And I know it's like whatever, but it's the truth.
Quit your job if you want to.
Don't quit your job. Don't do that. No,
if you want to, that's why my caveat. Only if you want to.
And ask for help. That's the biggest thing too. Make sure you ask for
Be a
help.
humble enough to ask for help. Listen, guys, let's put it this real quick. I saw you do it. We came to U.S. about 20 years ago. Didn't know how to speak English, say hi or bye. I still don't know yet, but I'm only 38 years old, and I could retire right now. Thank God. And this is an amazing place. This is an amazing country. If I can do it, anybody in this freaking room can do it. So, if you want to get well in your life, get in real estate. Don't get scared of it. We're here to help you. And let's make money.
Yeah, and please consider joining. Like I said, $300 for a year membership, $350 for a couple, and might have some renewals coming up for some folks in the room. So we might ask you about that at some point. But anyway, thanks for coming out, Santa. You got some.
Yeah, one thing you didn't mention was that we do videos also, right?
Oh, yeah, I did.
No, about Santa Claus move on. We did that. And we filmed it on my son's house next door. David stood on the front door like he was coming out the door. I drove up in a little red sleigh. I got a really nice sleigh, by the way. It's a convertible pickup. And I come driving up, and my neighbor across the street come over and started filming. And I said, the whole deal was Santa bought a mobile home. And I went up to David and said, come to buy your house. You know, in 1 hour, we got a phone call. By that afternoon, I had the keys to his house in my pocket. That person's house, not my house or not David's house. The next day, we had a buyer. And we sold that house. And whenever he come back off of his little 3-day weekend, we give him the money. So that was the very first one we have done. So they do work.
Yeah, that was Facebook.
On Facebook.
Facebook.
Yeah.
It's Facebook page.
Right.
We have like a Facebook page, the Tri-County Investors Association Facebook page.
Okay. Yeah, you can find that on Tri-County Investor Facebook page, is that what you
Santa
said?
buys mobile homes. All right.
You might want to tell it, 'cause I don't keep
Okay.
up with all that.
All right. We haven't done a video in a while. It's been it's been a minute. All right, so Santa Buys Mobile Homes and Land is the Facebook page if you're interested in the video that he and I made. And we need to make another one. And we had a lot of fun, and we did do some deals from that, but don't have time to do all the types of marketing all the time, you know, so.
All right, suggestion.
Anybody else? We good?
Okay, we're gonna try to be out of here by 9 o'clock. If anybody's able to help us to put the chairs and tables back into place, we'll take care of all the tech and grab some food or whatever on your way out. Thank you for coming. Network, share, contact, whatever. Say hello. Good night. Thank you.
If you hadn't met somebody that's in here, talk to them. That's what we